Hello and welcome back to the Stronghold. I'm the Magi and welcome to Midweek Magic, where I want you to grow your collection by winning 2 free rare or better ICRs each and every week. This week's Midweek Magic brings back around an old friend that in a way we haven't seen for a while. Unrestricted Brawl. That's right, we can play any commander we want and it doesn't have to be tied to the newest set. And I've got a super fun deck for you that can be adjusted no matter what your budget is for this week. But before we get into all that, this whole Midweek Magic thing has become a bit of a tradition here at the Stronghold, and it all started with our crack team of researchers discovering that we were the only YouTube channel making consistent, proactive, and timely Midweek Magic coverage. And here we are years later, and it appears that we're still the only ones out there doing it for the budget community. So be sure to subscribe to the Planeswalker Stronghold so that we can be here for you every chance we get. Now, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, right. Some of you may recall that back during the Final Fantasy season, one of the budget decks that I put together for that Brawl Builder Challenge featured our boy that I like to call Quina. And Slime Against Humanity for a super budget potential deck, and we found an unexpected little benefit there because the frog token created by our boy Quina got the same +1/+1 counters treatment that the Slime Against Humanity's token did. And I recall at the time cautioning people not to get out there and abuse this, that it might be a glitch, and this could be the sort of thing that ends up getting your account in trouble if you're found to be abusing an unexpected glitch. But happily, since then, I've had time to do some research and check with some very rules knowledgeable people, and I now feel pretty confident that this is an intended interaction, if unexpected, having something to do with layers and the substitution effect and things like that. I don't fully understand it, and I'm not going to pretend to, and I don't think we really need to understand it to have fun with it. Now, like I said, this deck can be super budget. You need 1 uncommon for the commander, you need 4 common wild cards for a playset of Slime Against Humanity, and you need some forests, and that's really it. Of course, you can put almost any green cards that you have in your deck that might help ramp or smooth your curve out, because this is very dependent on the 3-drop slot. Similarly, any synergies that creates tokens that Quina can help you out with, more frogs, or any +1/+1 synergy cards also do very, very well. And now that I am again confident that this is not going to get people banned or get their accounts jacked up or anything like that, I actually have done a much more resource forward version of the deck that allows you to have even more fun with some wild card investments. What do you say we take a look? Alright, so try to make a point of keeping this deck relatively budget. Not only is the commander an uncommon from a recent set, and we're running 34 copies of the common Slime Against Humanity, the land base is mostly basics with a couple of standard legal staples thrown in, but there are some higher rarity and lower rarity cards in this deck that happen to be in my collection that I want to test and see how they do in this mix, so I can give you a better idea of what is really worth crafting for this deck and maybe what isn't. In the land base, we added in Mirex because for 3 mana we can create a 1/1 colorless Phyrexian Might artifact creature token with Toxic 1, and it can't block. But of course, whenever we make a token, we're actually getting 2 tokens. Mutavault is in here because it has all creature types, And as you can guess, this deck has a bit of a ooze slime sub-theme. We've also got hardened scales in here because this has a front and center +1/+1 counters deck theme going on, and I've got several cards for that theme. Amongst which is Help Collector, a 1-mana 1/1 Elf Warrior. Whenever another creature you control enters or dies, notice it enters or dies, not when it's cast. If that creature's power is greater than this creature, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. As long as this creature has 3 or more +1/+1 counters on it, it has trample. So this is a 1-drop that just grows as a threat. We've got the Swarm Shambler, another 1 mana, this time Fungus Beast, enters with a +1/+1 counter on it. And whenever a creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it becomes the target of a spell an opponent controls, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. Again, we will get an additional 1/1 frog token because of our commander. And for 1 mana and a tap, we can put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So just really a potential high efficiency creature for this deck. The Ozolith, whenever a creature we control leaves the battlefield, if it had counters on it, put those counters on the Ozolith. At the beginning of combat on your turn, if the Ozolith has counters on it, you may move all counters from the Ozolith onto target creature. Deep Root Champion, whenever you cast a non-creature spell, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Keep in mind, our Slime Against Humanities are in fact sorceries, i.e. a non-creature spell. Let's see here, we've also got Gala Greeters, a 2-mana 1/1 Elf Druid. Whenever another creature you control enters, choose a one that hasn't been chosen this turn. This turn means not only your turn, but opponent's turn, so things that you can do at instant speed, you get that much more benefit. Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature, create a tapped treasure token, or you gain 1 life. And let's see, 1 more token. So yeah, if we make a treasure token, we also get a frog token. The frog token will then trigger the Gala Greeters again to give us something other than a treasure token. Ozolith, this one's an old favorite from not too long ago in Standard. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters would be put on an artifact or creature you control, put that many +1/+1 counters +1 on instead. And for 2 mana and a tap, you can put a +1/+1 counter on target artifact or creature you control, activate as a sorcery. Scoot Swarm! Oh, I used to love this back in the day. This is a 3 mana 1/1 with a landfall. Whenever land you control enters, create a 1/1 green insect creature token. If you control 6 or more lands, create a token that's a copy of Scoot Swarm instead. That gets explosive really, really fast, especially when we're making extra frogs. Of course, we've got Biogenic Ooze, one of the few mythics that I've got in this deck. 5 mana 2/2, but when it enters, you create a 2/2 green ooze creature token. In our case, we will additionally make a frog. At the beginning of your end step, put a 1/1 counter on each ooze you control. That, of course, will also count all of our Slime Against Humanity ooze tokens. This gets real big real fast. And for 4 mana, as a mana sink, you can create a 2/2 green ooze creature token. Please note that does not require a tap, so in theory, we could do it multiple times. We've also got a Stone Coil Serpent for X mana. It comes into play with X +1/+1 counters on it, reach, trample, protection for multicolored. Honestly, I'm not sure this one makes the cut. This is one of those that I'm looking to test, particularly with things like the doubling season, the hardened scales, the Ozolith, the doubling effects going on. We've got Elvish Mystic, Evolving Adaptive. We've got the Modal Double Face Land card, the Bastwood, that can put a +1 counter on a creature or be a tap land. Basking Brood-Scale, 2 mana 2/2, and it has Adapt 1. Whenever 1 or more counters are put on this creature, you may create an 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature token. That can just be nice for a lot of ramp. Corrosive Ooze can destroy an equipment attached to a creature which it blocks. Fuel Tank Feaster, another Ooze, a 1/3, 2 mana. At the beginning of your first main phase, a random creature card with the greatest mana value among creature cards in your hand perpetually gains. This spell costs 1 less to cast, and it taps for a mana of any color. Broodline Pretender is another one of those Shapeshifter Changeling cards. It has all creature types, and whenever another creature you control of the chosen type enters, wow, just all over the place there, sorry about that, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So every time we do an Ooze, it gets a +1/+1 counter. Every time a frog comes in, it also gets a counter, because we're not naming a creature, it's just all of them. No, excuse me, I lied. You have to choose a creature. So depending upon our board state, we might choose other things. Now, all the other stuff that's going on here is basically starter deck stuff or things from your staple collection and stuff like that. So all in all, a pretty cheap deck. I wouldn't recommend just crafting all of this stuff. Test it out, add a few things here and there, think about your other decks that might be interested in this stuff, and keep it budget, folks.
Turn 2 Quinoa feels pretty good. He's trying to figure out this madness. It makes no sense. The slasher, which is unstoppable. Sure. Not sure I really understand that, but... Oh, well, he just gets it back, so what's the difference, I guess, right? Can't believe we're doing this on 2 lands. Oh, I should have sent the 5/5 Trampler to you. I don't know what I was thinking about. We'll just keep chipping away here. don't think his math was mathing, but... I mean, okay. Scooter. Oh, whoops. I don't think Brood Scale is quite as good as I want it to be here, but I guess it doesn't really matter at 8 removal, right? Okay. Okay. I don't think he sees the real danger, but... If we draw land, we can double slime, and that'll be like a pretty big turn. I mean, okay, cheaty face. So he pretty much has to have an answer, like, right here. Elspeth is a good card. I'm not sure it answers what he needs to do here, but... I mean, that's like 10 damage. 5 of which is lifelink. Well, now it's 8. And actually, all of it's lifelink. I don't know what I was looking at, but... Yes, indeed. You did do the thing, for sure. And hey, just in case you didn't catch all that, Matt would like you to know that the deck list that we discussed in this video is going to have a link down in the doobly-doo to take you over to Aetherhub, along with a link to any other alternative lists that you might wish to consider. He only asked that you give it a little thumbs up when you're over there checking out the deck list. And I plan on live playing this event on Wednesday at 11 a.m. over on my Twitch channel, so definitely stop in and check it out. Because the Stronghold is so much more than just a YouTube channel, and you can find links to all of our other social media outlets in our profile. Because at the end of the day, we're all budget players. And as a community, we're stronger together. So like, comment, subscribe, follow, do all those things to show a little love. It's appreciated more than you know.